Hello, my name is Michael, and I'm doing my visual project for week 11, which is the Cold War. So I'll just get into it. Um, this is what I did for the thesis for the textbook chapter. I kind of just thought it was about a lot of how the US was trying to contain the spread of communism in the start of the Cold War. They, thought of it as kind of a virus. So, there's like a biohazard man and a gun and, a dollar sign to represent the US. And he's, going after commies who are seen as, kind of plagued. And they have a hammer and sickle and stuff. And so it's containing the red flu. I know it's backwards, so it might be weird, but yeah. So yeah, just kind of containing the spread. They saw it as like, a big issue that was plaguing the minds of the world. For the course reader article, I thought the thesis could be explained in this little conversation between Milgram and like the NSF or like whoever backed his research. So it says, incredible news, I've created a breakthrough discovery. These new American men are super lame and easy to brainwash. Amazing, it's exactly as we'd hoped. Now I know what we're paying you for. Who could have guessed? So that's kind of, like his motives to explain how a person could become a Nazi guard were really more reflective of like what he thought and what the nation thought was happening to men. And he also thought it was like, counterintuitive what he came to, which, not really, but yeah. And then for the thesis of the case study video, which is just on, so the thesis of the case study, which is just on like the chapter itself. The video is kind of exploring the ideas of like, was communism as big a threat as US thought it was? And how like, was capitalism really all that much better? And so I have this, which, these little frogs, I draw frogs. These guys in the middle here are, kind of at odds with whose side they should be on. Both sides are offering them something, this guy over here kind of being Stalin, giving them a hammer, but he's holding a sickle behind his back, which kind of reflects how poorly they handled farming and created like food shortages and like mass starvation. So like, he's hiding something, even though he's offering them like the means of production or whatever. And the people that are going for it are like East Europe is kind of timid, but he's still accepting it. China is really going into it. Latin America is here and kind of confused, doesn't really know what to do. And then over here we have the US and capitalism offering them $1, but holding, handcuffs behind his back. Kind of how, prison pipelines and the industrial complexes and things like that, which we'll probably get into later. And he's offering that to, Britain and France and, like people who benefited from NATO. And then meanwhile, black people kind of looking a little upset that, they're getting the special treatment from capitalism. Well, at home, there's people still suffering from all of its shortcomings and exploitation, stuff like that. So that's kind of, exploring both sides of it, which is what I thought the thesis of that case study video was about. And finally, I have two different opinions about what people thought of when they thought of communism and how it was explored as like when they were younger, and like what they knew before the class. So this is mainly based on Olivia and Zachary's responses. And it shows, a school child hiding under their desk during like a wartime drill, like an atomic bomb drill with an atomic bomb going off outside, and like, it's this farmland. We'll talk about that. But he's just bracing for impact there. There was kind of always just this fear that like someone was going to drop a bomb. So school children were taught to hide under their desks and try not to die. And then this is more Zachary's response, which is what he knew about the Cold War, and that was primarily that like the reality of it was just like Russia was just horribly inefficient in terms of like their bureaucracy. So you have this teacher here who's just like slaving away, filling out papers, and how they propagandize that stuff was like it's all good, it's fine. This is Russia. So there's a little kind of bad picture of a flower to kind of lighten the mood, make you think it's not so bad, even though there's a nuke going on outside near the farmland, which Russia didn't really handle very well, as we talked about. So there's that. That is all.